Hi guys, it's me, Miss Mary, coming in for a landing. Just coming in, and I've been talking to you guys about investment and how my husband and I got into real estate, and that was something that I was sharing with you. I think I left off on the financial part of it, sharing a little bit of it with you, not everything, because I'm not in it by myself. So my husband's a part of it, and don't want me sharing exact numbers and stuff like that. But I wanted to take a little detour because I wanted to come on and talk about um, the SNAP benefits. Everybody knows that what's going on in the country, and I just wanted to take a pause, and I just wanted to say, I've been there. I've been on food stamps. I know what it's like to run out of stamps. As a matter of fact, I was having this conversation with my daughter the other day, and I was telling her that when I got divorced back in 2000, no, not 2000, back in 1985, and I was on welfare, I can contest that they don't give you enough money. Every month, and I was on welfare for 3 years. Every month, I can guarantee that a week, 5 days, between 5 and 7 days, I was going to be short. I was going to run out of food stamps, and I didn't have them. Back in the day when Miss Mary was on them, we had a book, and it had fives, tens, and 20s in it, and you ripped the book out, and everybody standing behind you could see that you had this book, and everybody knew that there were food stamps and everything. But anyway, when I got divorced, I did what I needed to do to feed my babies as well as myself. But anyway, I'm just coming on here to say you're not alone. And you know what? Miss Mary made it through, and you will make it through too. I wasn't too proud or too ashamed to use whatever resources I could find, you know. But I'm coming on here with empathy. I just don't feel like um, talking about investment. It's the right time right now. I hope you guys enjoy those videos, but I want to come on here because why? We're doing life. In life right now, the climate right now, it says that what? That people are having a hard time. And I just want you to know that Miss Mary feels you. Miss Mary sees you. Miss Mary knows. Miss Mary has not only feels and sees, but Miss Mary experienced it firsthand. I'm not talking about what somebody told me. I'm not talking about somebody saying, girl, I ran out. I can tell you firsthand. I know what it's like to run out. I know what it's like because now I was just doing a little math, and I asked AI because I wasn't exactly sure because it's been over 35 years. But back then, I think they were giving us like $70 per person, between 50 and 70 per person. Now remember, I had 4 kids plus myself. That was 5 people. So that was what? Less than $300 for, let's see, that I was getting per month to feed my babies with. And it wasn't a lot of money. And then don't forget now, I don't know what the climate is right now because I'm not in it, but I'm only talking from my own experience. I remember not being able to buy washing powder, soap, deodorant, because with the food stamps, you couldn't get those types of things. So if you didn't have the money, you couldn't buy those types of things. I remember cashing in pop bottles, cans, so that I could buy those types of things. This is why Miss Mary come on here and talk to you about how to make your own deodorant, how to make your own toothpaste, because I've experienced it. I'm not just looking it up and finding these homemade remedies and coming out here and trying to create a YouTube. I'm talking from experience. I've experienced that. I know what that's like. I know how to use baking soda to brush my teeth. I know what it's like to just take some coconut oil, a teaspoon of coconut oil, and put it in your mouth and rinse it around because it pulls out of your mouth. And that's why I was sharing those things with you. But Miss Mary feel you. Miss Mary understands. I understand that you're not alone. And that, I remember when I got pregnant with my last child by my first husband. And I remember the girl that I had met that was a single mom too. She was really, really, really encouraging me to just give my son up. But I didn't give him up. And she kept saying, well, how are you going to feed 3 kids? Just give that one up. Just give that one up. But I said, no. I said, because as long as I eat, he's going to eat. If I eat, he's going to eat. I can remember the embarrassment that I felt about using the food stamps. Needed it, but the embarrassment of it, people looking at you like you're trash. I remember that. I remember I was telling my daughter that the thing that I did, and I can do some of this with you if you like. I remember before I married my second husband, there were a lot of meals that I didn't do meat. We didn't do meat because there wasn't enough money for meat. So I just heard on the news that they said that SNAP benefits only, it's like $6 per day to feed one person. Now you can't go to McDonald's for $6. You know what I mean? Um, so that's what it was. That's what it is now. It's a supplement. So I remember with my kids, we didn't have a lot of meat. Like if I made macaroni and cheese, that would be the protein. I would give macaroni, cheese, and green beans. I did a lot of tuna. I made tuna casserole because that little can of tuna is a little bit of meat, but it's in there with the noodles. And then I would use that can of cream of mushroom soup. And then I would put some, believe it or not, I used to love to put potato chips on top to make a crumbly crust on top of that. I still love that. I would love to, I might make it just to show you. I stopped making it years ago, but I would make things like that. We ate a lot of beans. You do a lot of beans, and beans are good. I ate a lot of beans even growing up. I remember my aunt. That's all we had. The only time we had meat was on Sunday. Friday, I can tell you right now what my aunt's menu was for the whole week. Monday through Thursday, it was beans. One day we might have butter beans, pinto beans, lima beans. Now, don't talk about no meat because there wasn't no meat except for whatever meat she put inside. Maybe there might have been a little bit of ham in there for seasoning, and you might get lucky and get a piece of that, but I doubt it because it probably went to my uncle who was working. So we would have beans and we would have cornbread, and that was Monday through Thursday. Friday was fish. We had catfish, we had whiting, we had perch. We would sometimes we would do tuna fish, but it was always fish on Friday. On Saturday, it was catch-all. Saturday consisted of the banquet pot pies. I can't stand them to this day. The main reason why I don't like them is because the way my aunt would do it, she wouldn't take them out of the freezer into the last minute. And so she'd throw them in the oven. And when she would bake them, they wouldn't be completely unthawed on the inside. So basically, she burnt them to get them right. You know what I mean? She'd take the crust and chop it up and try to mix it up because it'll be burnt on the outside, not cooked on the inside. Those banquet pot pies. Another thing that we had on Saturday, it was pork and beans, Campbell's pork and beans, and hot dogs. And she would take and cut up the hot dog because she probably only had maybe 3 or 4 hot dogs. I don't know. But I know she would cut it up. You wouldn't get no whole hot dog. You ain't getting a whole hot dog. It was going to be cut up. And you might get 3 in your big thing of beans, and somebody else get 3 in their beans. And that's what we had on Saturday. Sunday was the end all be all meal. That's what we all lived for. Sunday was the macaroni and cheese and the greens and the yams and the potato salad. And we never know what kind of meat. Sometimes it would be a big pot roast. Sometimes it would be fried chicken. Sometimes it would be pork chops. You never know what meat it was, but those things were always present. I can't never remember a Sunday in my aunt's house where we didn't have greens. Greens, macaroni and cheese, candy yams, cornbread, and the meat would always be whatever. We never knew exactly what the meat was. That was her menu. That was what we ate. And we loved and lived for having leftovers on Monday. We prayed that there would be leftovers. When people would come to the house and she would feed them, we would be like, oh, wow, now they're going to eat a ball of macaroni and cheese. We won't have them for tomorrow. But look, Miss Mary is 68 years old and I'm alive. Got my sight, wearing glasses, but I got my sight. I'm here. I didn't die from eating beans. I didn't die, you know. So I know what it's like to live through the hard times. I know what it's like. My aunt would shop at the Salvation Army. We wore Salvation Army clothes, and I'm not ashamed of it to this day. As a matter of fact, I'm proud of it because I know how to be wise with my money because of it. If I had only experienced brand new things, then I wouldn't have the greater appreciation for used things. I appreciate new things, but I also appreciate used things. And that spills over even with my home. I'll go to an estate sale in a heartbeat and get things, you know. So just learning how to be wise with your money. Miss Mary just coming out here to say, hey, baby, hang in there. Don't get discouraged. Don't throw in the towel. You're going to be okay. And you take what you have. You guys have something that I didn't have and that we didn't have. You have the internet. You can go on the internet and say, I got some flour, I got this, and I got that. What can I do with it? Ask AI, what can I make with this? And he'll tell you. You can figure it out. You can get through it. So Miss Mary just wanted to come on here and let you guys know that it's like I always tell my husband, read the room. Read the room. What's the temperature in the room? And I just wanted to come on here and share with you guys about I've been there and my heart is here. I'm praying for you guys every single day. Those of you who are experiencing it, and those of you who have more than enough, ask God, who is it that you can help? Because that's what I'm doing. I'm looking to see who is it that we can reach out and help. Maybe somebody you want to help. Maybe some young mom, that has 5 kids. Might be some mom who has 2 or 3 kids. Maybe you can buy some formula. Maybe you can buy, maybe I'm not saying you got to go to the grocery store and buy all her groceries, but just say, hey, can I just feed you today? Can I just make up for one of those days? Because I can remember having to turn to the church, being grateful that they were giving out food because I needed that food. I really needed that food to make it. So just coming out here and saying, I see and I know what it's like to try to make it stretch. I know what it's like to not have. I know that they don't give you enough to make it. Now, probably during Biden time when we was in COVID, that's when they gave the most food stamps, according to some people that I talked to. But other than that, The regular month-to-month food stamps, Miss Mary, no. Miss Mary, no. It doesn't stretch. And I wasn't buying steak. I wasn't buying pork chops. I did get some chicken. I ain't gonna lie, I got some chicken. But everything that I bought was on sale. So I'm just in here and I just want to let you know that for those of you that are going through it, I see you, I hear you, I know. Leave a comment. Let's talk about it. Tell me about some things that you do when you're running short with your groceries. Tell me about some secrets, little tips that you have, you know, and I'll share mine with you. Another thing that I did is I made a lot of soups. Soups are good and they go a long way. Just wanted to come in and take a break from, not take a break, but just wanted to put it out there about what people are going through and the hardship that people are going through. And to say that, Miss Mary, see, we're just doing life. And guess what? This too shall pass. We're going to get through it. And I say we because I might not be struggling like you're struggling, but that doesn't stop me from having empathy towards what you're going through. That doesn't stop me from caring. That doesn't stop me from wanting to reach out. That doesn't stop me from wanting to give an encouraging word. That doesn't stop me from wanting to help somebody. So let's just share. Let's hold each other up. Let's support each other. Because that was the one thing that got me through. Us supporting each other. As moms, there was quite a few single moms at the church that I belonged to. And we helped each other. We held each other up. Encourage each other with words and encourage each other like, hey, guess what? I remember one mother, she would always remind me, don't forget to go to the bread house, baby, because you can get a loaf and get that day old bread. Just encouraging each other. So this is Miss Mary coming in for a landing, just saying, hey, I'm here. You can share any tips that you have. Maybe there's some young lady on my channel that would need to hear from you. How did you make ends meet? What things did you do? Tell us about some things that you used and how you save money. Tell us, maybe you made your own soap. Tell us how to make your own soap. I make my own detergent, but tell us how to make soap. So share some of your tricks and things that you have that has blessed and helped you to be able to stretch your money a little bit further. This is Mary coming in for a landing, saying bye. See you guys later. Have a great day.